Hey, my name's Kurt Beavers, and my wife Lori and I have built a business with a company called Juice Plus, and I want to just take a minute to share with you what that journey looked like for us. It was a heartfelt decision many years ago because we had a need in our life that we knew if we didn't change some things, we were going to keep getting the same results. I can tell you, I remember vividly a Sunday afternoon after we'd been married about 6 months, and Charles Stanley had married us. He taught me the Bible. I'd worked at the church on staff during college, and we loved him as a mentor, a teacher, and he had preached a sermon that Sunday morning on getting out of debt and just really how the borrower was slave to the lender. I remember all that. And came home that day, and I won't say Lori was crying, but she was emotionally upset. Something had triggered her. It was a great sermon. And I said, well, the sermon didn't trigger you. What's the matter, sweetheart? And she said, I'm just troubled. I mean, when are we ever going to have kids? And the reason that question was so important is we had talked about in our premarital counseling and our dating years, we had talked about how important it was to us to be able to be at home, for her to be able to be at home for our kids. She wanted to be the mom of all moms. She wanted to pour into our children and be there and be available for them. Really, the thought of having a child and putting it into a daycare center 40 hours a week, it was really trauma to her soul. And so we talked about that and knew that's what we wanted, but how many of you have something like that where you've talked about it? Can you feel me right now? You've talked about it, you really want to do it, but all that really ever happens is you talk about it. And that Sunday, that day, it came to a head where we knew we had to do more than just talk about it. And so we sat down and kind of looked at budgets and numbers, and we didn't make a lot of money. I was an apprentice for someone who was a mogul in commercial real estate. He had made zillions of dollars, 8 figures the year before, and I was willing to take a season of my life and be his flunky, his apprentice, and learn that one day I might pick up some of the talent, skills, and things that he did and learn how to be a commercial real estate entrepreneur. So I made $17,000 that first year, and I think Lori made 15 or 16. She was an executive assistant to the chief legal counsel of a big, huge bank in Atlanta. And the interesting thing was, as we sat down that day, it wasn't me changing my career because I was willing to make that investment for the future to learn. I felt like I was in a good place to learn. I love my boss. But Lori, it was very interesting. She was, and maybe some of you can identify with this, she was driving downtown every day. That's gas in the car. In Atlanta, that's road rage and lack of mental health and the traffic. I mean, literally an hour each way commute. It was the gas, the commute. It was having to buy lunch every day or fix a lunch. And this was the most interesting, and you had to pay for parking downtown. But the most interesting thing was she was expected to dress the part of all the others in the executive suite, and they made executive salaries and she didn't. So there were a lot of expenses that she had that if she was working from home could be done away with. So she didn't literally have to make as much money as she was making downtown. She just had to make $1,000 a month was the number we came up with. She could quit her job and be at home. And our kids that we would have in the future, we didn't have any kids yet, but she'd be ready for that season. This is funny, but you see, my wife is a planner. So we didn't have kids yet, but she wanted to be in that place so that we could be free and be ready to have kids. It's like if you were going to go to Disney World with my wife 4 years from now, she would already have magic wristbands and you'd already have fast passes and you'd know what ride you were going to ride on Thursday at 1 o'clock. I mean, that's how she planned. It was great. I need that in my life. I'm a seat of the pants kind of guy for the most part, real spontaneous. And she's not, so we balance each other out. So we, that day, decided to come up with a plan. What could we do? Remember, we were going from just talking about it to doing something about it, and we figured out we needed to make $1,000 a month. Now, what did that look like? We had no idea. We heard of people doing, dog watching, babysitting, cleaning houses, telemarketing from home. This was really before the boom of all the home-based businesses of today. I mean, Uber and all those things, they didn't exist back then. So what we did is we were in a big Sunday school department at our church. We loved it. It was dozens and dozens and dozens of couples our age that were it's a new married class, but a big church. And so we put this request out on the prayer chain. Literally said, hey, Lori's looking for a way to make $1,000 a month. Could you put that on the prayer list? And if anybody knows of anything, just let us know, please. And this was crazy, but this just shows you that God's hand was on it. A few days later, someone called us and said, hey, this is Fran. You don't know me, but Ann from your church called me and said that you were looking for a way to make some extra income. She knew that we had gone through that battle the previous year. My husband's a pastor at another church. I lost my job. I was the bigger breadwinner, and we found something. Have no idea if it's something you would like to do, but we would love to cook dinner for you to come over to our house, and we'll tell you what we're doing. So, when you're young and you're poor, a free dinner is great. So we went over there. We didn't know these people. They were strangers, sweetest people in the world. But this is not being critical, but let me tell you about them and why Lori and I are in this business today. It's because Fran, great cook, great hostess. Her husband Ron was as nice as he could be. But she's somebody that you would want at your bedside, praying for you, keeping you warm with a blanket, making soup for you. She was a mercy personality type. She is not the person you would hire to be in a business to sell something. And what came across to us that night was the food was great, the fellowship was great. She loved the product. She couldn't explain it very well. She loved the business. She couldn't explain it very well. And it made us feel like if she can do it, we can do it. And I literally, about the business, I remember one thing from that evening is when we left our house, she said, I don't know if you and Lori could do this, Kurt, but I made $85,000 my first year. And remember, we wanted $1,000 a month. So we said, wow, thank you for the food. We'll get back to you. We didn't make a decision. We got in the car driving home. I said, Lori, I have no idea if we can make $85,000, but we can make your $1,000 a month with one hand tied behind our back. Fran is no better than we are. If she can do it, we can do it. And we decided to go, We went to an event to get trained and get started. I've got all kind of training videos to explain this to you, but we were naive and we'd never done anything like this before. Didn't know what we were doing, but we're convinced that this was a way for Lori to be able to stay at home. It wasn't about titles and positions. It was about making $1,000 a month that would free her up to be the mom she wanted to be. And the first month, guys, we made lists, and there's a training about memory joggers, and there's all kind of things that I can share with you. But we made a list, a big list. Struggled to make it at 22 and 23 years old, but we made a list. We got 38 customers our first month. Now, we sacrificed a lot. We didn't watch a lot of TV shows, didn't go to Georgia Tech basketball games, limited our social life, and we focused on our business. It was important to us because it became a solution. So we got 38 customers, and 13 of those 38 customers, we shared the business with everyone, but 13 of those 38, what they heard was, hey, Kurt and Lori had a strong desire in their life, in their hearts, and they were searching for a solution. Had a big group of people praying to help them find that solution, and they found this. And this is going to allow Lori to stay at home. I would love to quit flying on a plane so much. My kids need to go to a private school. The school system they're in is not good. My car's broken down. I need a new car. If I could just diversify my income and make an extra $1,000 a month, it would help with my retirement. I mean, all kind of things. So 13 of those 38 customers said, we would like to look at what you and Lori are doing too. We've got some things in our life that we need to stop talking about and do something about. And 13 of those people sat down and came to an event that Lori and I didn't do the event. We shared our story, and an expert, someone that was really good at our business, who was already making a significant six-figure income, had a little office and a whiteboard, and he sat down and explained to them how our business worked. And 5 of those 13, not all of them, not even half of them, but 5 of those 13 joined us, and we blew away Lori's goal. We made $3,000 our first month. It was amazing. I mean, we went from we're going to try this to we can do this to someone else coming up that was not the lady that cooked dinner for us, but someone else that was a little more learned and knowledgeable. And he said, "Kurt, you and Lori are doing great. Y'all could be national marketing directors." And we said, "What the heck is that?" And that was the day things changed for us. He said, "Well, national marketing director is part of this company's hybrid business model, where they've brought the benefits of traditional corporate America into a direct sales model where you own your own business, but you get the type of benefits that like an executive with a salary gets." And we said, "What does that mean?" "Well, you get full medical, dental, life, long-term disability, prescription coverage, vision, chiropractic, all that stuff, great insurance. You get an expense allowance up to $3,000 per month. Your kids get college tuition reimbursement, and you get a holiday bonus. All the things you would expect from an executive package." And I said, "Well, that sounds amazing, but what do we have to do? We don't know how to do this business." And he said, "You need to find 5 people that are just like you, that are hungry to make a change in their life, that would join you on this mission, that would partner with you to take this business and this mission to places you couldn't do alone. If you'll find those 5, then you can be a national marketing director, and the company would take care of your family for generations to come." And that was the day, 30 days into this business, where our vision changed from let's make a little bit of part-time income, let's get a few customers. "Lori, you can make $1,000 a month. I'll keep on my real estate apprenticeship. I'll get there one day and you will be able to stay at home." When that 30 days hit and we had that success our first month and had that conversation, I'm like, "Lori, let's go build this business. This could be what God uses to change our future." I've always wanted to be available for ministry. I've always wanted to be available for our kids and be at their ball games and do the things that I see so many parents avoiding because their job consumes them. This could be the answer. Well, we bought into that hook, line, and sinker. 4 months later, I was full-time with Lori in this business. Our 8th month in the business, 8 months after Lori signed her contract, she made national marketing director. We had benefits and expense allowance, tuition for our future kids, college reimbursement. And then 6 months later, I was able to sign up under Lori, so we doubled those benefits. I got them too, and I made national marketing director our 14th month in the business. We've never looked back, never dreamed this would happen, but we now have a business in all 50 states. I actually traveled to visit distributors in the 50th state. I made it to Alaska last summer. I've been to all 50 states. We have business in all 50 states in over 20 countries around the world. From a $52 investment when we were 22 years old, looking for a way for Lori to stay at home with our kids. We applied principles that we love to share and teach today over and over again. And we've been able to change other people's lives. Over 250 families, couples we've helped make national marketing director that are thriving in this business today. We'd love to help you too. Hopefully, if you join us, you know that we're here to support you. We're here to take you down the road we've already been down so that God can use this business to be a foundation to make you available for His purpose and calling on your life. That's so important, and that's where true joy comes. Thanks. Have a great day, and God bless.